Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and today we've got a very special guest. Her name is Cara Lockwood, and Cara is the best-selling author of more than 35 books, including USA Today's bestsellers, The Takeover, and I Do, But I Don't, which has become a Lifetime original movie starring Denise Richards. Now, in 2023, during a routine mammogram, Cara was diagnosed with stage 1 HER positive breast cancer. She fought back with a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, and reconstructive surgery, and she went into remission in 2024. Her latest book, there's no good book for this, but I wrote one anyways, The Irreverent Guide to Crushing Breast Cancer, and was just released in October 2025. So, Cara, I don't need to go any further than that. Welcome to the show. It's so great to have you.
Thank you so much, Joe. So great to be here. I'm really
And
glad.
wow, 35 books. You're quite a
Yeah.
prolific writer. What all have you written about?
Yeah, well, mostly I'm a romance writer.
Oh,
So
okay.
my first book, I Do But I Don't, was a movie on Lifetime. And
Okay.
as you mentioned, and I also wrote a Hallmark movie, The Dater's Handbook,
All
that
right.
starred Meghan Markle,
Wow.
the former Duchess. So
Right.
yeah, I've written romances for adults, for teenagers, all kinds. They all have happily ever afters though, which is
Nice, nice.
they always have happy endings, which is good.
Do you hang out with Fabio?
No,
No.
I wish, but no.
So it sounds like a couple of years ago you got hit upside the head with a
Yeah,
2x4. I was sharing with you a little bit. I know
yeah,
that 2x4. And
yeah. It's terrible. It hurts.
you were just going through a routine scan, and all of a sudden they come back and say, we got a little issue here.
Yes, exactly. Cancer doesn't run in my family, but like everyone, I tried to check all the boxes of getting the scans and the colonoscopies when I needed.
Uh-huh.
And this one just came back positive for cancer. And like you said, just that 2x4 knocks you
Oh,
for a loop.
you know, in my situation, I had a doctor tell me that I had this lump that was growing in my neck, and I thought,
Yeah.
I'm a healthy guy.
Yeah.
I'm all about health. This is, I do a podcast on health. I've been
Right.
for years, and I said, well, my body will figure this out, and thought it was just a swollen gland, whatever. By the time I go to the doctor, he tells me, oh, well, you're so healthy, it's probably not cancer. And
Hmm.
I sat there for 9 months, sort of letting it grow, thinking
Yeah.
that I had it under control. When you get hit with this, you realize that you're not in control of so many things, and yet you're completely in control.
Yes.
And that's kind of a strange conundrum, but
Yeah.
it's so true. Why don't you tell us about your experience a little bit?
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting that you say that because right after my diagnosis, I reached out to a counselor that I had gone to in difficult times. I had previously been divorced and just high stress times. I feel like it's good to talk to somebody.
Sure.
And the first thing she said to me is that cancer doesn't get to decide.
Right.
And it was just such a game changer for me because as you know, when you get a diagnosis like that, it just feels like cancer's in the driver's seat. Like you've got to go
Yeah.
to all these doctor's appointments. You have to go to all these scans. You may have to do treatments that make you sick, or it just feels like you're just along for the ride. But
Right.
the truth is, like you said, you're still in charge. You get to decide the treatments, you get to decide the doctors, you get to decide if you have treatment at all. I mean, that's still, in your
100%.
purview. Yeah. I mean, it's actually you are still in the driver's seat. So I think that's just the most important thing to remember. I don't know if that's how you felt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've done over 20 episodes about my journey. Uh,
Yeah.
and one of the central themes of this is that you have to be your own advocate. And
Hmm.
just about everybody that you talk to and just about everything that's presented to you is going to have some good and some bad.
Yes.
And you have to decide, what's worth it and what's not. And, there really isn't any miracle cure for anything out there. There's no cure for cancer. They don't have one. And
Right.
everybody's cancer is unique to them. And so what worked for the person before you, the doctor's going to tell you they work off of what they call standard of care. And
Hmm.
literally just check boxes off and
Yeah.
fit into a box. They go, here's what we're going to do. But you have to decide, is that what I want? Is it worth it?
Right. And it's all so individual, just like you're saying,
Yes.
because I would never judge somebody's decision to get chemotherapy or not get chemotherapy. I mean, it's just such a very, very personal decision. You're the one that has to live with the side effects. You're the one that has to live with the outcome,
As you
whatever
can
that
see.
might be. Yeah. I know. I have recently grown back my hair, so it's just now this long.
I love it. I love it. It's just starting to come back, just barely. Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because I come from almost 40 years of working with natural uh,
Hmm.
health answers, and I'm a formulator. I've been working with cannabis medicine. I've been doing
Yeah.
all this natural stuff for so long that I did judge people before. And
Yeah.
when somebody's like, "Oh, I'm doing chemotherapy," I'm like, "Wow, why would you have to do that when you could do all these other natural things?" Or I had radiation, or I had surgery, or I had whatever.
Hmm.
And I tell you what, it's such a humbling experience that you get faced with your own mortality, regardless of where you started or what you were.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
equalizes everybody.
It does.
And then you
Yeah.
got to really start thinking. And so, you get hit with this, and what was your process? I mean, for me, it took me a minute to just even put my head around it. Like,
Yeah.
that was,
Oh yeah. Well, I had just turned 50
Mhm.
and I just felt like I had so much more time to grapple
Yeah,
with mortality
right.
and I also don't think even if you're 80, you probably think I have much more time to grapple
Absolutely.
with
100%.
mortality. Like why do I have to
Yes.
do it now?
Yes.
Um yeah, it
That's so much to do.
exactly. Well, because when our time ends, nobody wants it to end.
Right.
Nobody
It's like
nobody
a good
plans
movie.
for
You
that.
just want it to keep on going. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So when I first got my diagnosis, I think, I'm not alone in this. I just didn't believe it.
Mhm.
It just was hard to process. I went into what I call the white room, which was just like this very safe space where nothing bad was happening, but I wasn't processing any information. Like
Yeah.
I was on the phone with my radiologist who was giving me all of the details of everything they knew at the time of the biopsy, and I wasn't digesting any of it. I was
Right.
there. I was saying yes. I was nodding. I did not get any of it. And I think it just took some time, and I don't know about you, but when you're living with that diagnosis, it sort of felt like, over the course of days or weeks, I would like wake up and have to remember and remind myself this terrible news. Like, oh no, you've got cancer. Like,
How long did it take before it entered into your dreams?
yeah,
It didn't for me for a while. Like, it's
yeah, yeah.
over a year since I was diagnosed. It was probably a good 6 months before I had a dream that acknowledged that
Yes.
part of my reality.
Yeah, I think I haven't thought about that, but for me, definitely months. It was
Yeah.
definitely months. And I think it
Not right
was
away for
like,
sure. Yeah.
no, because it was like because I would be dreaming, wake
Right.
up, and
Yeah.
then, oh, wait, I
Oh,
have cancer.
wait. Yeah.
Like,
I've got
yeah,
this thing.
wait.
Yeah.
Oh no, this horrible thing's happening.
Yeah.
It's telling you're breaking the news to yourself every day. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. Well, in my situation, I've been surrounded by people that are healthcare professionals of all
Mhm.
different types, from, physicians to naturopaths to herbalists to Reiki masters to, you name it, all the way
Yeah.
through from total woo-woo to, standard of.
Yeah.
And so, of course, everybody's got a suggestion for me.
Oh, of course.
And I'm
Of
sure you
course.
probably got that. Here's what you need to do. You need to
Yes.
talk to that
Yes.
coach and read that book, drink that tea, eat that fruit, whatever it is, And I was like, all right, slow down,
I know. And everyone is it's so well-meaning, but
Oh yeah.
it is an information, it's an information overload, and
Yeah.
I think people are so eager to give you some practical advice, like this is the thing you need to eat. This is the thing you need to do. You need to
Right.
do, meditation. You need to,
Yeah.
do all of these things, which are very good. But I think in the first few weeks, if not the entire time of treatment,
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I struggled with was, just my emotions. I
Yeah.
mean, just the fear, the sense of like my body's betraying me because
Yeah.
like that betrayal is hits so hard. Like I never thought the enemy would come from within.
Well, and you know what? I don't know if you came to this place or not, but I came to a place at first I started down that road where I'm in a battle, against
Hmm.
myself and
Hmm.
how horrible that is,
Yes.
I don't want to hurt me, but look what I'm doing. I'm going to kill me. And
Yeah.
I came to a realization after a lot of different trying and not try, and going down all these little different check boxes. And I came to a realization that it wasn't a battle as much as I had part of my body that was confused
Yeah.
and it
Yes.
just didn't understand. It got lost, the genetic
Yeah.
code got messed up and it's just trying to stay alive. And that's all. It doesn't hate me. It doesn't know me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that is such a good way of putting it. I felt the exact same way.
Right.
I had to get to a point. I started seeing my body as a child, like me as a kid, and my
Yeah.
brain as the adult, and my body was just a little kid, just
Right.
doing what it thought was.
Doing what
Look
it
at me,
does.
look
Yeah.
at me, I'm growing all these cells. Isn't
Yeah.
it
Right.
great?
Yeah. They're not
You know?
such good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't know. It
Right.
wasn't intending. And I think that was so important to get to the forgiveness, let go of the anger,
Yeah. Because
Once
you
I
can't be
realized,
in
yeah,
that place of trying to kill something like that's,
right.
the whole notion of creating with your mind and
Hmm.
what is it that you're projecting? What are you thinking about? I'm like, I can't be thinking about violence, that's not good.
Right. Exactly. Like I started thinking of myself as a stern parent.
Okay, good.
Like this is not the right thing to do. We're gonna do this instead. Like,
Right.
it's a distinct like direction into the right path.
Okay.
Because I think you're right. Like like seeing your body as an enemy, as something you have to destroy.
Right.
It's not going to work.
Counterproductive. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it's wild how when you're receiving all this information from
Hmm.
people, did you go through a process of like who were you gonna like once I finally got it that okay, this is for real, I got to jump in and get at this
Yeah.
because it was already getting big when
Yeah.
I got my biopsy result and I'm like, okay, everybody I talked to like, why did you wait so long? I'm like, I'm here now. Let's go,
Right. Yeah.
and it is what it is. Don't chastise me for what I screwed up. I don't need that. I just need to get going. And but you have to prioritize. Like your priorities, everything changes. Like we go through life and oh, this is important and that's important and all these things are so important. And then all of a sudden, wham. How did you adjust to let's just call them new priorities?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to think there was a old commencement address in the 80s, I think, by a CEO that talked about priorities being glass balls and rubber balls.
Yeah,
So you want to keep the glass balls are the most important things,
right,
family, whatever you think is most important in your life, and you don't want to drop those balls. And the rubber
right,
balls are like some deadlines and things you can
right,
drop, they'll bounce back up.
right.
But I think when you have cancer, you realize almost all the balls are rubber.
Most of them are rubber. There's only a couple of glass ones that
There's
left.
only
Yeah,
really one or two that are glass. Like cancer
yeah,
is glass, you can't drop
right,
that one.
right.
But the others, they'll bounce. Like,
Yeah,
you don't want to drop them all the time, but they'll
right.
bounce.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is a complete shift.
Mhm.
If there is a silver lining to cancer, it is like reprioritizing what's
Yes.
important for you. And it does
I,
it like immediately. Yeah.
I think that's really important for people that get diagnosed to realize that, as a lot of what the purpose of this podcast is for people to learn and
Yeah.
to benefit their lives. And I've gained a lot of, you know, cancer patients as listeners as a
Hmm.
result of a lot of the things I've talked about. And not,
Yeah.
oh, we talk about all kinds of stuff, but there's a theme that keeps coming back, and more people are coming back to me for, consulting and things like that, going, hey, you know, I heard this guest, or I heard you say this, and I think part of that is like you're getting input from all these places. You're probably reading
Hmm.
books, you're
Hmm.
listening to videos, you got doctors telling you one thing, you got probably parents or loved ones telling you
Yep.
one thing, you got, you know, how did you sort of, I don't know, prioritize the value of input? Because that was a real hard one for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is hard because you are getting it from so many sources. For me, my dad's a retired doctor.
Mhm.
He's a retired orthopedic surgeon. And when it came to health and medicine, I trusted his advice more, just growing
Okay,
up, and
sure.
um, so um I trusted when he suggested, like, there were other people in my life, relatives and friends, who were like, maybe you don't want to do chemotherapy, maybe you're sort of a borderline case, you might not need it, like, do you really need to go through this? And my dad was like, look, you get one shot to throw
Yeah,
everything you have at this
yeah,
monster, and
yeah.
so you throw everything you have at it.
Got
You
to
don't
kill it
let
now. Yeah,
you got to kill it now, because if
yeah.
you don't, it's
It comes
just,
back stronger, meaner, and smarter,
yeah.
and it's almost impossible second time around.
Right. And so that bit of advice really, really resonated with me, just because I had a, deep trust in my dad and what he
Yeah, that
he
was good
he
advice.
recommended. But secondly, I had very good friends who and my spouse as well, who sort of have a perspective like, you don't want to live life with regret.
Right.
So combining those two, of dad saying, throw everything you got at it, and then friends and my husband saying, just live your life without regret. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want regret. And that
Right.
that resonated with me too. So in that case, I was like, I'm going full bore on this, everything I
Nice.
can right now. My hair will grow back later. I'll worry
Yeah, that was
about
the last thing I cared about. It was like
exactly.
my wife was like, "Oh, you used to have such nice hair." I'm like, you know what? It'll come back or it won't. Right,
Yeah,
I don't care. You know what I
right.
have? I have another day to live. That's what I have.
Exactly, exactly.
Uh,
So I think, those filters are hard to set for yourself, but
yeah,
ultimately, at least for me, there was just getting all that information, but the challenge was getting to my inner hard no and heck yes,
yeah,
and so every time I heard something, I had to check in with myself. Is
right.
this a hard no? Is this
Yeah,
a heck yes? Am I just not
yeah,
sure? And
yeah,
so my whole focus was really trying to get to that hard no, that heck
yeah.
yes. Like there could be no middle
You,
ground.
right, right. There's no wobblers here. Like you got it.
Yeah,
You're either all in or you're all out. Yeah, I
exactly,
agree. I
exactly.
agree. Well, it's interesting how we're walking sort of a parallel path. Did you find that relationships that you had sort of filtered themselves too? Like, I found that a lot of people I thought I had a good relationship with turned out I didn't, and
Yeah.
people I didn't know that they were so good turned out they were, and
Yes.
fortunately, that I thought were good were. But you really, when times get rough, that's when you really find out who's real and who's
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's so true. I think it's true because cancer's terrifying. It's really
yeah,
scary. And it's not just scary for us, it's scary for people who know us
Oh
as
yeah.
well. I mean, cancer is like sort of this horrible mirror that's held up to other people. Like, actually,
All
death
right.
is coming for us all, by the way.
Yes.
We're all mortal.
Yes.
And this
And
could
we're
come
all
for you
carrying
too.
cancer cells. I mean, there's not
Right.
anybody who's immune to this. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, this could come for you too. And so I found the people I found that it did filter people into people who were brave enough to sit with me in the discomfort and
Hmm.
to face it and
Yep.
to be okay with facing it.
Yeah.
Um, and then there were people that like to make excuses and like to it's something I call the pity and pivot,
Yeah.
like the I'm so sorry for you, and
Right.
hey, did you hear about the football game, or did you,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
let's
Let's go
pivot
talk about something
right,
nice. Right.
let's pivot right away from this. And then those same people just gently backed away. They didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
ask.
Before you know it, they're like, "Wow, I haven't seen them for a while." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the people that surprised me, like you said, I didn't even think they were that close, that
Yeah.
their friendship was that close. They were the ones often that were like, just, and it was just a how are you? It
Yeah.
was a weekly check-in or a monthly check-in. There wasn't a, hey, you've got to do this treatment, or
Right.
any
Just
kind of.
not here. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a how are you? How are you doing? I'm
That's
thinking about you.
huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Did you find any people that had survived cancer that came into your life, or that you already knew that were able to share their stories?
Yeah, yeah. I did meet people through other friends.
Mhm.
I think as soon as you become diagnosed, at least for me, I realized in my network of friends, there were friends of friends and relatives
Yeah.
of friends that
Turns
had
out there
cancer.
really is a club.
There really is, and I actually didn't know. I mean, you kind of
Me
like
neither.
distantly know, but they're
Yeah.
friends of friends, or not really in your circle. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so it turned out cancer is just way more common than I ever thought.
Yeah.
And so I did connect with other people going through um, breast cancer at the same time I was,
Right.
and had very different experiences because, as you said earlier, every case is different, no
Mhm.
matter if you have the same kind of cancer or not. Like,
Right.
it's very different journey. So, but yeah, and I feel like there is a community and a
There
network of
definitely
people.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've sort of commandeered this conversation a little bit,
No,
and
no, no. I love it. I love it.
but I want to hear about your book.
Yeah. So I wrote There's No Good Book for This, but I wrote one anyway, The
Right.
Irreverent Guide to Crushing Breast Cancer, based on my experience. It's a little bit memoir, it's a little self-help. Every chapter ends with a pep talk because I really feel like that's what you need more than anything
Yeah.
during this journey. And
Keeping your spirit up is huge, I think. I think
yeah,
you start getting
yeah.
stressed, and I think your body responds to positive energy in a positive
Hmm.
way, and your body's busy putting itself back together every night.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you are giving it good things, it's like, all right, I can keep doing this. And if you start getting depressed, I don't know, I think it has another response sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean, there have been studies that say if you go into a surgery believing you'll be fine and this will help you, that
Yeah.
you are fine and you have fewer complications than the person who doubts what they're doing and feels like it's going to hurt them. Then they get poorer outcomes. Like, I mean,
Right.
there is scientific evidence that says positive thinking helps,
Absolutely.
and that negative thinking can undermine your recovery, and I don't know if it can make you sick, but it definitely can't help you get well.
Certain, yeah. There's a scale that says, is it going to help me or not? And then it's not, is it going to hurt me? It's, if it's not going to help me, I don't want anything to do with it. And,
Right.
positive thinking can help you. It's not going to hurt me. Then what the heck? Why wouldn't you do it?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I think a great part of, or at least a huge part of positive thinking for me was humor and
Mhm.
using humor.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of humor in the book. I
Oh, yeah.
talk very, very candidly about my experiences in an MRI machine
Yeah.
and other things that
Isn't
are
that
funny.
crazy when that machine is like I'm not into techno music, but Man,
Yeah.
it's like a friggin' techno concert going on in there.
No, it's the work. It's so funny because I have never been claustrophobic in my life, but when I went into that MRI machine, I was like, "Oh no, that's a good choice. That's
Yeah,
claustrophobia, excellent choice. I understand."
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but humor has such a so many healing properties. I think it instantly lowers our blood pressure. We relax instantly. It's hard to be afraid when you're laughing, you
That's true.
know, and fear is such a big part of every stage of cancer and fighting cancer. And so anytime you can undermine fear, and it's a good thing. So
Right. No, I couldn't agree more. I think humor is a powerful weapon or a tool, and it's, the old Reader's Digest, laughter's the best medicine. It's really true.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I think we have to sometimes give ourselves permission to laugh. I think sometimes we get when we're
Yeah.
going through
Is this
something difficult, we
appropriate
think,
or
yeah, is this not appropriate?
that's not
Can
that
I not
funny?
laugh?
Well, guess what?
It
Everything's funny.
it is. It is
Yeah.
because life's a little absurd and that
It's
happens
completely absurd. Yeah.
at the doctor's office and everywhere else. So
Yeah.
if we
Just
can't
look up at the
laugh.
Milky Way and think about anything and you go, oh, well, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So might as well give your like endorphins a boost.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. So I don't know how you felt about positive thinking. Was that something key for you as well?
100%. No, no, that's always been a part of my regimen and I preach it, you are what you think about.
Yeah.
You create your existence based on what you think about. And everything that you see in life started out as a thought.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this is, I had to take a beating for a minute. I says, well, I did this to me.
Hmm.
And I realized that I did. I created this thing, and it was a lot of bad choices over a lot of years, and whatever. Okay, well, it's time to uncreate that, and let's create a new thing. And I think ownership is important, and you can combine humor and ownership.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yes, of course. Yeah.
yeah, so that was kind of what I had to do is I had to swallow it and say, okay, I did this, I get it, but I don't have to beat myself up over it. Let's just get on to the fixing part.
Yeah. Well, I would say too, that definitely, you can take accountability and responsibility, but at the same time, I would say, no one ever chooses cancer.
Right,
So no matter what kind of behavior, even if you skipped your scans, even if you smoked every day,
right.
even if you did all of the
You didn't do
things.
it for that purpose.
Right. That was
Right.
not it was never your intent to get
No,
cancer. So
exactly.
I think we should show ourselves some grace, give ourselves
Agreed. Agreed.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And the thing that's wild is these lessons, these profound lessons that you get about, this hugely impactful subject, you can transfer to any element in life, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Quite
I
a
mean,
teacher.
yes, it's so true. It is so true because you get such clarity, through this process. Like it's and the lessons you learn about what you can how tough you are,
Right,
I think at the beginning, before I had cancer, I sort of put people with cancer in a different group,
right.
like they're better than me, they're braver than me,
Yeah,
they're stronger than me, they've gone through this. I could never do that.
yeah.
But now I see, from my own journey that anyone can do it. Like
It's
any,
remarkable what you're
yes,
capable of when you're faced with
yes,
a thing. I have people all the time say, "Oh, you're so inspirational. You're so strong." I'm like, you know what? I'll bet you if you were sitting in my chair, you'd be doing
yeah.
the same thing because you do what you need to do.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is if you don't have a choice, if your
Right,
choice is death
right.
or this,
I don't
you
choose
know,
that. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
right?
no,
Right? Yeah.
100%. Well, Kara, it's you just released this book. It's only been a month or so that it's
Yeah.
out. How's it doing?
Oh, great. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's reaching a lot of people, and for everyone purchased, I also donate one for someone in
I
treatment.
saw
So,
that. That's beautiful.
yeah, and 50% of proceeds go to Susan G. Komen and the Breast Cancer Research Foundation because
Nice.
I would like nothing better than for our club to be closed to new members
Yes.
forever.
Yeah. Let's put it out of business. I'm right
Yeah,
there.
let's put cancer in the history books so we only read about it in past tense, like the plague. Let's do that.
100%. And communicating about this is critical. That's one of the reasons I keep talking about it every chance I get, because truth is the hospitals and the doctors and the medical schools are about 20 years behind the science. And it takes that long for the
Yeah.
testing and the trials and everything to get to where you can even take it. Like there were treatments that I wish I could have had access to, but they weren't proven yet. And they
Yeah.
only let them do for this cancer and not that one. I'm like, I know it would work for me, but I couldn't, nobody would give it to me, And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
well, hopefully they'll catch up soon. And I think the talking about it, even talking to doctors about sort of out of the box things, they always said, I don't know about that, and they weren't necessarily against it. They just would say, it's not in my box. I don't know it.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you can't blame them because they're looking at like
Oh,
whatever research is in front of them, and they can't just,
exactly. I
hand
wouldn't
out.
want their responsibility. Yeah. My dad was a
Right.
surgeon too while he was alive. And I lived my whole life, growing up with his stories and his experiences and all of that. So, wow. Well, listen, I always try to tie up a conversation with a thought. And I know you've got a lot of thoughts wrapped up into this, but do you have a message that you would like to sort of distill this down for our listeners?
Yeah. Well, I would say that you're stronger than you think you are,
Mhm.
and I think it's like the Navy SEALs say when you think you want to quit, you're only 40% there.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's powerful and huge. And hopefully you don't have to look at the darkness at the end of the hallway to find your strength. Hopefully you can find it easier than that. Well, listen,
Yes.
Kara, it's been a treat. It seems like we've been talking for 3 seconds,
Yes.
and my invitation is truly open. I definitely would love to continue this conversation. Tell us a little bit about how people can reach you, find your book, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, the book is on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, but you can find it and me at caratheauthor.com. So that's Cara with a C, theauthor.com. And yeah, you can follow me on social media there or drop me a line or buy the book. There's also an audiobook there too if you'd rather listen than read.
Nice, fantastic. Well, I listen to a lot more books than I read, so I'll probably grab your audiobook and hear you out. I'd love to share that experience with you and not have to go through it.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Well,
good luck to
listen,
you and hope for continued good health.
oh, absolutely. I've already seen the end, and
Good.
I'm gonna be around for another 60 years is my plan.
Fantastic.
We're
That's
going.
fantastic news.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Kara. And this has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and I want to thank all of our listeners for making this show possible. And we will see you next time. This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right. Well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.